Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who just loves Kevin Smith. Yeah. How are you, Frank?
I'm good. How are you, buddy?
Good. It's Frank. Harrow.
It's me.
Yeah.
Well, what if I was silent Frank and I just didn't talk the entire episode?
I think I could do it.
With me just like nodding and like reacting.
Yeah, I think I could. Yeah,
I think
that's what I do
it.
for a living.
That's true.
People nodding and reacting while I talk.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
Yeah,
you can pull it off. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd probably start really deep diving heavy into like, I don't know, nothing. I'd be like, smooch the gooch. Let's examine how we spell that phonetically, but then what is it really saying about the English language that we can say words that mean nothing but mean everything at the same time?
Wow. I kind of want to hear that podcast.
Yeah. But it's not today's.
Anyway,
yeah.
Subscribe to Read Up for more of that. Anyway.
All right, fair.
Oh, man. What are you drinking today?
Well, Frank, as you know, I recently went on a voyage to...
Was it a bon voyage?
I went on no, I did not go on a boat. I had to think about that.
No. I said it was a good voyage.
It was a voyage. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, it was a bon voyage. Yeah. Good voyage.
Yeah.
Why don't we say that to people? Like, we say safe travels, but we don't say good voyage.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Anyway, I went on a voyage to Florida, not Hollywood, and
nice.
That'll come back later.
It will.
And it was lovely. And so while I was there, I made it my mission to try some local brews. And so I have one here tonight. I'm going to talk about. Well, I guess they're so local that I can't really talk about. Like, you can't. Well, I guess some of our local beers you can't get everywhere either because they're local. So I am specifically going to mention Props Craft Brewery because they're the ones that I had the most. I went down to their brewery in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, which was excellent, and I had a bunch of their beer, but the Ghost Rider Stout was my absolute favorite. One, because Ghost Rider was pretty great. Named, of course, after the song Ghost Rider in the Sky.
Naturally.
I would assume, not the Nicolas Cage motorcycle.
Oh, you think it was
Flaming Skull? Honestly,
I was thinking. I mean,
my
Ghost
first
Rider
thought,
in the Sky. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been Ghost Rider in the Sky. That would kind of be where my mind would go for somebody to be like, "Oh, I'm going to name a," but I don't know. It could go either way.
No, I thought the Marvel character.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because I had a Gunslinger Steam Ale, and I was like, in my mind for that one went to, like, your mind could go to Stephen King. The Gunslinger.
Yes.
Or it could just go to the generic term
a gunslinger. Someone who slings a gun.
Right, exactly. Sling it over your shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Is that where you put it?
Sure.
Sure. So anyway, it was amazing. It was actually one of the best stouts I've had in a long time. Because sometimes stouts can get flat.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just kind of dead in your mouth, which is an image that's terrible.
Dead in your mouth.
Dead in your mouth.
Not in your
Ew.
For the 90s kids.
Yeah. This is an envelope.
For the people who see lots of movies.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
So anyway,
We've been hanging out together all day today.
Yeah,
We're a
you
little
could-
punchy.
you could tell. Yeah.
This is the best beer with geeks.
Yeah, I
We've
agree.
been hanging out.
Yeah, I agree. Not like at the end of a work day when you're like, "Hey, how was your day? It was good.
It was
Let's
good.
do
Let's
this."
talk about geeky things.
Let's do this. Oh goodness. So anyway, I would recommend that because it was delicious. If you can get your hands on Props Craft Brewery,
Right on.
What about yourself?
I also recently encountered a beer that I think is hard to find, but I really, really, really enjoy this beer. And I'm talking about it's from Pipe Dream Brewing, which I was not familiar with up until now, but they make a fantastic, what they call a CT Crunch Stout. And you immediately look at the can and you realize that CT stands for Cinnamon Toast. It is a Cinnamon Toast Crunch Stout.
That sounds so good.
And it is so delicious and so fantastic. The can is look it up if you can. It's
Look up the can if you can.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It looks, the lettering looks like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's all colorful. And
what is it called? CT Crunch?
CT Crunch Stout. Yep, from Pipe Dream Brewing. And it's just exquisite. It's delicious. It is made with all the flavors of Cinnamon Toast Crunch in a stout. And oh boy, did I enjoy the hell out of it. It was everything I hoped it would be. It was. I found it at a local restaurant in my town, and they had a very limited quantity of it, and it was so limited, in fact, that you had to ask for it by name. It wasn't on the menu or anything. I had to specifically ask for it because they had so few of them. They were like, if you see this Instagram post, come and ask for this beer and we'll give it to you. Otherwise, it's a secret.
Wow. It's from the Dream Brewing.
Pipe Dream.
Pipe Dream. Oh, sorry. Yeah. The X on it covered over the
pipe. Gotcha.
Pipe Dream Brewing from Londonderry, New Hampshire.
Yes, sir.
It's a chocolatey American stout infused with cinnamon toasted cereal, adding flavorful layers of bready cinnamon with notes of sweet maple syrup.
And it is great.
That sounds good.
It is great. So if you love your breakfast cereal, I would love them to do like where's my Lucky Charms stout and where's like a Trick stout. Like I would love a whole like cereal.
I'm pretty sure there is a Lucky Charms.
Is there
stout?
Ooh, yeah,
or not a stout, but I'm pretty sure there's a Lucky Charms beer already.
Yeah. I would love to get like a whole series of cereal beers. Cereal of cereal beers.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Whew, you killed it.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah.
Get it. So yeah.
Cereal.
Got him. Yep. So that's what I've been enjoying. We both just enjoyed the newest film in Kevin Smith's Askewniverse, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
Yeah, man.
And we thought it was a good time to. We haven't really ever talked about the works of Kevin Smith.
The Askewniverse.
Yeah. So I figured it was a good time to take a look back at those films and just sort of talk our way through those movies. Clerks was a movie that that's where it all begins. And
do you have a list open in front of you? Because
I do. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I will not do this in order.
Oh
yeah.
Okay,
great.
Fine. I mean, we don't have to do it in order.
No. I'm fine, but I won't remember all of them.
Yeah,
so
right.
Keep
Just
the
make
list.
sure we cover off on them.
Yeah.
Clerks is such a it's a cult classic, right? It's always been sort of seen as such, pretty much from the start.
Sure, he made it on a bunch of credit cards, and then it went to festival, which is awesome.
Yeah. He like took out like $30,000 in credit card debt and made the movie he always wanted to make about his life and turned into a whole life form. Yeah, it worked out.
It worked out. When was the last time you watched Clerks?
Oh man, it's been a few years.
Yeah.
I didn't see it till like college, so I came to it sort of late. And then, I don't know. It's been at least 5 years since the last time I saw Clerks.
Yeah, I think it's been longer. I don't think
really?
I've watched it since college. The scene where, oh gosh, who's next door? Brody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brody's next door.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Brody just does the Jaws theme with the salsa jar and the tortilla chip, like that plays in my mind pretty frequently.
It's very on brand for you,
isn't it? Though? I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Yes.
You should watch it again to see, like, because it's truthfully, as I get older, the comedy style is not really, a lot of it is not for me anymore.
Yeah.
The either the drug humor or the nitty grit or like the overtly sexual humor. It's just really not. It's really just not. It's not for me anymore.
Yeah.
So, although truthfully, that was never really the funniest parts of the films for me.
I would agree. Yeah.
So I think the ad absurdum are my favorite parts.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Those are the absurdity of it is what I really enjoy. And the thing that I think sort of set Kevin Smith apart early in the early days of Clerks, especially, were the nerd references.
Yes.
Right. The whole bit about the Death Star and all that stuff, like the contractors on the Death Star, that kind of stuff was like, what, we're talking about Star Wars in a movie,
right.
like the references were ahead of their time and were before any of that kind of conversation was mainstream, before what we're doing right now is mainstream.
Exactly. So right, you wouldn't see a movie reference another, you wouldn't see a movie reference something else.
Right.
You just it just didn't happen.
Right.
Most of the time you would see visual cues or something like that, but you wouldn't have characters be like, oh yes, I saw the movie Star Wars.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this movie Star Wars. You would see it in books. I know Stephen King does it quite frequently. I'm in the middle of reading Cujo right now, and he talks about how a kid has a Luke Skywalker poster on the wall, and his favorite action figure is Greedo, and all this stuff. But you wouldn't see that. But a book is a book,
right?
Yeah,
and I think it was also rather unusual for adults to just have a hypothetical conversation about Star Wars. Like, hey man, do you realize that all these people that got blown up were they were just contractors, they were construction people, man. That whole conversation, not really a conversation that adults were having in 1994.
No, but it is conversations that adults are having now.
Correct. So that's why a lot of that stuff was ahead of its time. And it's what sort of made him, I think, such a geek icon early on.
Yeah, because it almost validated the conversations people were having in secret.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hey, that's how me and my friends talk at the comic book shop.
Right, at the comic book shop.
Comic book shop.
Right, but you wouldn't go home
exactly
and talk about it.
Right.
But now you could.
Now you can,
unless your spouse doesn't care, then you don't
sure.
You don't say anything. I was literally just right now talking about the story of John Henry with Mary while you were just in the other room.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, it's because a smart guy that I know who John Henry is. I know who that is. And I was like, oh, I know who he is because of John Henry Irons. Let me tell you about Steel, the metal worker. Also the technology guy.
Let me tell you why I know about this.
Yeah, right. And so she was like, that's dumb. I said, I know.
I know.
I know.
Thanks.
It doesn't change the fact that his name is John Henry Irons. I'm sorry.
Doesn't change. That's how I know it. So Clerks. Wow, Mallrats came out the following year. I didn't realize that.
He made that quick. It's funny because they were like, this Kevin Smith guy, he could do anything. Mallrats.
Yeah. I like Mallrats.
It's fine.
It's fine, right? I feel like the next couple of films are I'm okay on Mallrats. Chasing Amy. I actually, I like the
concept.
The concept, yeah. I think it has its issues, but I enjoy Chasing Amy, and Mallrats for that matter.
Yeah, Mallrats is not really one that I particularly care about.
It's not one that I go back to often.
No, I don't think I ever really go back to it. I do enjoy the Stan Lee scenes.
Yes.
Because Jason Lee's character is he has Stan Lee right in front of him, and he's like, I need to know about thing. And that's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny that you get Stan Lee. And
and that's the first thing you.
Yeah. So I liked that, and Chasing Amy. Actually, it's funny because in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, they address how weird it is, the view of Chasing Amy,
yes.
and it's this straight male guy, and it's his view of the LGBT, and it's all this weird play on that, and I like that they address that, and they're like, maybe it shouldn't have been from his perspective at all.
It's Kevin Smith sort of being like, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best call.
Right,
Maybe,
but it was
like,
the 90s.
But it was the 90s.
Yeah, and
Right.
then it was like, wow, they're talking about it, and it's
That's
in a
right.
movie. But it probably doesn't. It probably doesn't hold up very well.
Yeah.
I even remember thinking when I was watching it in college that it's not holding up
Yeah,
very well.
yeah.
Not that the acting doesn't hold or anything like that. It's just I always like that his movies have this little weird brand of like they're comic book creators. Like you wouldn't see that in any other movie except for him.
That wouldn't be Ben Affleck's job in if it was made by anybody else.
No,
right?
he'd
Like,
work for some advertising firm
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, right. It would be like some Nicolas Cage movie from the 90s where
That's
he was
right.
like a businessman.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's your job? Businessman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Just the fact that was like the lens. But I do like that in Reboot he like sort of he made that little passing joke about like how like yeah, that was a weird choice. You know, like sort of realizing now like yeah, maybe okay. Yeah, that wasn't my best choice.
That's one of the best parts about Kevin Smith is that he is quite reflective.
Very much. The older he gets, the more reflective he becomes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That scene in Reboot where at the end where Jay's talking to Harley Quinn Smith and Silent Bob is right there, and they're all kind of crying, and I was like, those are all real tears.
Oh yeah,
all of them,
Oh,
because the
yeah.
three of them are big mushes, and so like out of context, but like Uncle Jay is like
Yes.
basically saying he's proud of Harley Quinn Smith.
Yeah.
And he loves his friend who's standing right there. That's like, oh, they all love each other.
Yeah,
it's so sad.
it's so sweet.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. That's good. What's after Chasing Amy?
Dogma.
Oh, Dogma's great.
Dogma's great. You know, Dogma is one that I haven't come back to very often, but I really ought to. I really ought to go back to it because it is a really good movie.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched that one. I haven't watched a lot of his movies in a while now that we're talking about it. But I love the dynamic between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck just in general. And so because you can tell they're friends.
Yeah.
And, so it's fun to watch them play off of one another. And I think it's probably one of his stronger stories because it's like a full narrative and like there's like consequences and there's impending threats and like all that stuff because most of his movies there is no threat. There's no antagonist.
Right.
It's just like people it's almost like a Three Stooges where like they just get into their own trouble.
Right.
They're their own worst enemy, but there's an actual problem to solve in Dogma, which I like. Plus it's got Alan Rickman.
This is true. Yeah. It is. It's probably the best constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that his movies generally aren't, because he is a good writer.
Oh, agreed.
Like, he really does have a way with words. But it's his dialogue that kicks. It's not really his narrative structures. Some things lag.
Yes.
They spend too long over here talking, so you need to, shove this. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Dogma. I think about the scene with Salma Hayek, where because she's the muse, right? She's a top 10 pictures of the decade or whatever. Yep, that's one. Every one of them's me, except for that one with the kid and the screaming. He's home by himself. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that piece of garbage or whatever. Salma Hayek, low key hilarious.
Oh my God! Yes, 30 Rock, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 Her and her McFlurries.
Her McFlurries. I was trying to think of the patron saint of perpetual.
Oh, the patron saint of sad looks or something.
Are you lying to me? It's like Saint Valentina, the saint of perpetual like sad looks.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the joke is, but she's so good. Her delivery is spot on.
Fantastic. Oh, she's so good. Yeah, she really. It's a shame she hasn't done more comedy, honestly.
Yeah,
because she is so good at it.
I saw her in a comedy, which was not very good, unfortunately. But the actresses, all of the actresses in the movie are very talented. Just the material they were working with was
not great.
That's
too bad.
Yeah. It is indeed. What's after Dogma?
She was good in that, and then after that, you get Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, okay.
That's one of my favorites, actually.
So Strike Back.
Really, it is. I do enjoy the Jay and Silent Bob going off on their silly adventure because it's very comic booky. It's written very comic booky, and it's very like self-referential, very meta. Is it like his best work? No, but I enjoy them for what they are.
I remember sneaking into that movie when I was a kid.
Really?
Because I used to go. My friend's aunt ran the movie theater next to our house, so we used to go to the movies all the time. We used to see. I saw the movie. I have seen the movie Driven with Sylvester Stallone 5 times.
Oh my god!
And it was all in the theater because we would just go.
Yeah,
like
sure.
it was right by our house, so we would just go and watch whatever was out there. And my friend really liked cars, and so that was like the heyday of like the beginning of the Fast and Furious franchise, and so like any car movie we were there. But I remember I also saw The World Is Not Enough a bunch because that was the same era.
Yep.
Phantom Menace, Sorcerer's Stone, that was all in that.
Yeah, a couple of years there. Yeah.
But Jay and Silent Bob, and that was the first time I'd ever watched Kevin Smith because I was 12.
Yeah, right.
But I think the first scene of anything I've ever seen any Kevin Smith anything is the Blunt Man in Chronic scene with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And who else is in that scene?
Oh gosh.
I can use my lookup if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. It's shoot.
It's so while you look that up, I'll say why I enjoy the movie so much. I think it's really his writing in when he's writing those two characters is very much like Stan Lee style writing, where it's very sort of verbose, sort of flowery language, flowery language for Kevin Smith, right? Which is a lot of swearing, a lot of sexual innuendo, a lot of that stuff. So it's very vulgar, but it's very funny, and it's very I don't know. It's very like purple prose in the tradition of like Silver Age comics. So I enjoy that style of writing. He does that in I mean basically anytime he's writing Jay and Silent Bob. But I find Strike Back to be just sort of a fun like buddy movie. I don't think I would say Clerks is probably I think is sort of the quintessential Kevin Smith still. But I enjoy Strike Back quite a bit for what it is, and I think it we'll get to Reboot, but it revisited that in a nice way and brought me back to the same headspace. So I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I'm trying to remember who else is in that scene. So it's Mark Hamill. I can't remember. Are you pulling up the clip right now?
I'm just on IMDb scrolling. There's some people in Strike Back that I didn't remember being in there at all.
Really?
Diedrich Bader is in it.
Oh, he's in it?
Yeah, he's a security guard again.
Oh, nice.
Paul Dini is in it.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, like I did not. I got Alanis Morissette is back in it. Oh, isn't it James Vanderbeek and Jason Biggs? Right.
Oh, yes. Right. They're Blunt Man and Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. Because remember they're filming the Good Will Hunting 2 open season or whatever it's called.
Oh my God, yes.
I forgot about that.
Oh man,
I haven't watched that movie in so long. Will Ferrell is the cop that's chasing them.
It's been a few years since I've seen.
Yeah,
it.
I remember thinking before, like I remember because I think Dogma. After I saw that clip from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I think Dogma was really like the first one I had seen. For the first Kevin Smith movie I watched from start to finish. I did not get like who George Carlin was and why it was funny he was a cardinal or a bishop or whatever and things like that.
Right.
But I remember thinking after watching Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I didn't care for it as much. I was like, oh, it's not as it's a lot of fluff, I guess. It's a lot of nothing.
It's a very silly movie compared to Dogma.
Yeah. But that's okay. It's still great. What's the next one on the list?
Clerks 2.
Oh, I loved Clerks 2.
I enjoy Clerks 2.
The end is a little much for me.
I don't remember the end.
It's like with the donkey in the.
Oh right, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But there's a lot of there. But there is a lot of good stuff in there, like Randall's like Star Wars Lord of the Rings battle. Which one is like like where he's like, here's the first movie, and he just walks across the floor in Lord of the Rings, and he's like, here's the second movie, just walks, and he drill like that's really funny.
That's very funny.
It's very very funny. I remember Kevin Smith saying that you could tell, Rosario Dawson is an amazing actress because she made you believe that a woman like that would be interested in Brian O'Halloran.
I know.
Yeah. She's great.
She is fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing the people that have been in his films, like early in their careers or whatever, like Affleck and Damon and like and Rosario Dawson. Like, it's just an amazing caliber of people who he's gotten to work with over the years.
Yeah. Even people like Jason Lee, who you don't see crop up a lot, is really good.
Very talented.
He's so dynamic. I was even thinking when we were watching Reboot, I was like, I miss Jason Lee.
Yeah.
He's just really, he makes interesting choices, and I like watching what he does. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Clerks 2. What's after Clerks 2?
After Clerks 2. So then there's Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie, which I actually never saw.
I don't think I have either, actually. So let's skip it.
We'll skip it, and that brings us to Reboot.
No, that's not true. No, that is not right.
Well, then there's Tusk, and there's Yoga Hosers, but those, I guess, are not Askewniverse.
Oh, right. They're not in the Askewniverse. Okay, that makes sense.
Cop Out.
There's Cop Out, right. Jersey Girl.
Yeah.
Shoot, the one that I actually wanted to talk about, and now the name escapes me. I'm blanking. Use your lookup.
I'm using my lookup.
Oh, yeah, they're not in. So the last one is the cartoon.
Yes.
And then it's Reboot. I haven't really thought about. I forgot that Jersey Girl is not.
Yeah,
in the Askewniverse, which I actually kind of liked. I thought it was pretty good.
So Zach and Mary make a porno.
Oh, funny movie, actually.
Cop Out, Red State.
Red State. That's
the one you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, Zach and Mary is funny. If you've ever seen it.
I actually never have seen the whole thing.
It's pretty.
I never finished it.
It's pretty funny. Great. Justin Long and Brandon Routh play a gay couple in it. They're hilarious.
Nice.
I think that's why Justin Long keeps popping up in these other ones.
Yeah.
But Red State is one of his best, I think, just across the board. Have you ever seen Red State?
That is one that I've never seen, and I've heard such incredible things about. I think I was in college when it came out, and I remember he took it like on a tour.
That's right. This started his like roadshow style of of movie watching.
John Goodman, right?
Yeah, John Goodman,
guy who played Flash on Smallville.
Yep, guy who played Flash on Smallville. Yep, and honestly, I couldn't really tell the actor, the lead antagonist of the film. I have never seen in anything, but he is incredibly engaging. Do you know what it's about? It's like
sort of.
It's like a religious cult, doomsday apocalypse.
I knew it was like a religious right thing,
it's commentary on like the people who stand. I can't remember what's that group that stands outside like
Westboro Baptist Church.
Yes, yeah. It's like a horror movie version of them.
Gotcha.
But it's really interesting, and like not Kevin Smith style,
right?
And so like he really branched him, like he really went for something different, and it really works for the most part. But I used to show a scene from it in class when I was teaching a Puritan literature, and then like so it's like the
Crucible, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I was but more Reverend. Oh, I've lost it. I'm losing it, Frank. I got to use your lookup.
Yep.
It's not the Minister's Black Veil because that's Nathaniel Hawthorne. It's
I don't know. I'm probably not going to get it. What's it about?
It's the sermon. It's by that sermon. It's like the fire. It's like a sermon by a reverend, and he's like, "You're all going to hell, and here's why."
Okay.
And it's not a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Edwards.
Jeez, I really don't
God. Anyway,
this is a teacher who can't remember something, and the frustration that comes with it.
I'm on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't teach it anymore. But I used to show that scene because it's basically the same type of thing. Like these people are going to hell, and here's why. but you can like watch it for how engaging it is and how like you can get sucked into it.
Is it Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God?
That's it. Thank you very much.
By Jonathan Edwards?
Yes, Jonathan Edwards. Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. Thank you. But then you should do that in conjunction with the Crucible because you have to set up why people flipped out.
Right.
Why people would be like the witches and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway.
So Red State.
Yeah. Who'd ever thought that whoever said that to use Kevin Smith in a classroom before? But
that's crazy.
Yeah. I had to edit around some stuff in the scene.
I bet. Yeah.
Actually, not in what he says because they're very because he's doing a sermon, so there's no swearing.
Oh, okay.
There's no anything. It's the content and how what he's commenting on.
Got it.
That makes a difference. But it goes dark really quickly as soon as the sermon is over. And I don't want to spoil it for you if you're going to watch it.
I do think I'll watch it. I remember it being sort of people, maybe like critics sort of liked it, but audiences didn't.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable movie, but I can see why critics liked it.
And I think like he got a lot of flack for the movie.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He usually gets flack for commenting on it, and most people get flack for commenting on something religious.
True. That's true. Yeah. I mean, he got flack for Dogma too.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so yes, you have those films as well that are not View Askewniverse per se, but they are, the Kevin Smith filmography, the Zack and Miri, Red State, Cop Out, Tusk, Yoga Hosers. I've never seen Tusk or Yoga Hosers.
Me either. I heard Tusk was really weird.
He says it all the time. I mean, he's very
deprecating.
Yeah. But he's weird like walrus movie. But I'm kind of curious because of all the weird stuff I've heard. And then I guess Yoga Hosers is sort of has some of the same characters, or is something of a sequel to Tusk.
Yeah. So Tusk, Yoga Hosers, and he was gonna do another one about a moose killing people. It was supposed to be like
a trilogy,
the moose, but he never got that last one off the ground.
Right.
But it's funny because that's the one that I was most interested in. Yeah.
So we have those, and then we get to Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. So that's what he's been doing for the last couple of years. The cartoon movie was, I guess not part of his filmography proper, but was a Jay and Silent Bob thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I remember when it came out and what it looked like.
Yeah,
but I never took the chance to see it.
Same. I guess it was. I mean, as I'm thinking about it, was that sort of his take on like the DC animated movies? Like, well, they do like animated versions of these things, like they also do in theaters. Like, here's my animated version.
I mean, it could be. It very well could be. I'm pretty sure. Did Clerks have an animated form at one point?
Maybe it's not on this list, but that sounds familiar. That there might have been something like that.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
but anyway, and then that brings us to the reboot.
Yeah, reboot.
Yeah, which I really enjoyed. It doesn't really solve their problem at the end, which I think is funny because they're like not allowed to use their names.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually wrap that plot line up.
Doesn't prevent the movie from coming out or any of that.
Nothing. They got wow, that looks so cool. Okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll never use my name again.
And then the Russians, and then let's just lean against this wall again.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's kind of like in the vein of all of those other, of Strike Back and whatever else. They're just so it just takes a turn.
They're just they're like silly stoner movies, but they're a lot of fun.
Yep.
And they actually have a lot of heart too. This one especially, Reboot.
Yeah, it does.
The older he gets, the more of a softie he's becoming, and the more that's coming through in his art.
Yep.
If you listen to his podcast, which you and I both do, you get that all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it's coming out in his art a lot.
Yeah, he's a big old softie.
Big old softie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his self-commentary in Reboot where he was like, I don't know if you know, but I had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And he's like, so I guilted all of these people into doing this movie.
Yes. I really enjoyed. Did we talk about this? Did you watch his the comedy special that he did? That he filmed the weekend of the heart attack?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the tics.
Yeah.
Of about to have a heart attack.
He was having the heart attack while he was doing the special, basically.
The special was good, though.
It was good. It was very
good.
good. Yeah, it was very funny. I do I feel a connection to him, in a lot of ways. I feel like he is not in every way, but in a lot of ways, I feel this sort of like where we have similar thoughts and opinions on the media that we watch, and I enjoy his commentary on those things. I like his podcast because he likes the same things I like, and he talks about them with the same kind of passion, and I enjoy that. And his movie making is, while it's he expresses himself much differently than I would. The things he's trying to say at the root of it, I feel like a connection to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
that's because we're also big old softies. Frank.
That is true. That is true.
It's true. Well, and I think that about wraps us up. So, anything you'd like to say?
Just that he's working on a Clerks 3 and a
That's right.
Twilight of the Mallrats. So I hope to see those come to fruition. And and I love that Mallrats is officially part of the MCU thanks to Captain Marvel.
Right.
Because Stan Lee's cameo in that movie is him rehearsing for his Mallrats scenes.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's so fun.
That's fun.
So, anyway.
Oh,
that's my button on that.
That's good. I love it. So you can find us on beerwithgeeks.com, Gmail, Facebook, and Twitter, thoughtbubbleaudio.com. You can go to patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio to support all Thoughtbubble audio programs. And, of course, you can rate and review us on iTunes and find us all other places podcasts can be found.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Well, Frank, this was lovely, as always.
Yes.
And next episode, 300.
Not quite yet. We got a couple weeks.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We got a few weeks.
Do we? I'm confused.
We're at 296.
Are we?
Yes,
I
sir.
thought we were at 299.
Not yet.
I flipped one of those sixes around.
That's what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, then, you know what? Never mind.
But until next time, cheers.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me is somebody who I can't hear because the headphone pieces are not in. Aha. Nope.
Got him.
Yeah.
Hi. That was a journey just for us.
Woo. Do you want to put that at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost 300 episodes, and we still can't get it right.
I got out of practice
I know.
for recording in person.